Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Bailey and this will be my third video that I posted, or like long form video that I posted. And today I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about people pleasing, because that's something that I've definitely struggled with growing up, and then also in my adult life too. It's not something that has been kind of like a linear path. It's definitely been something that's ebbs and flows, and sometimes I feel like I'm getting there and I feel like I am no longer people pleasing, and then I notice sometimes my initial reaction will be to people please people, because I get uncomfortable if I'm around someone and they're upset and there's something bothering them, especially if they're expressive about it, but more so in like micro expressions. So like slamming cupboards or sighing or stomping, or you can tell that they're upset but they're not exactly saying that they're upset. I then will fall into people pleasing mode and will be like, okay, do whatever I can to make this person feel comfortable and feel okay. And sometimes that is at the expense of myself. And it's definitely something from my childhood where I learned to do that to be safe in a way. I definitely fell into the caretaker role in my childhood because I was the oldest sibling, and I kind of just wanted to make sure everyone was okay. And even if I wasn't okay, I think I felt that as long as everyone else was fine, then that was okay, even if I wasn't. And so it's definitely been a journey. It's definitely been something that I've struggled with a lot. It's also something that I find some people in my life have taken advantage of, which that makes it hard, because if you have someone in your life who is used to you being a people pleaser and you will do things for them to people please or to make sure that they're comfortable, make sure that they're happy, and then you stop doing that, that's hard, because they've gotten so used to doing it that when you stop and you set boundaries, it's then like, whoa, what do you mean? And sometimes that can result in arguments or the relationship then becoming rocky because of it. I kind of want to talk about my experience with it and what has helped me, and hopefully it'll help someone else as well. So I basically started people pleasing from as young as I can remember. As I said, I very much fell into the caretaker role when I was a kid, making sure that my sisters were okay, making sure that my parents were okay. And I remember that left me in a really hard place because I was constantly busy making sure everyone else was okay, and I would almost ignore my own feelings or try to push my own feelings away because I didn't want to deal with them, or I guess I felt as if as long as everyone else was okay, then I'll be okay. So growing up, I definitely fell into the caretaker role. I would take care of my siblings. I would make sure my parents were okay. There was a lot of emotional dysregulation growing up, so I remember trying to be the mediator and trying to make people feel okay, like not make people feel sad or angry or upset. And I did that from a really young age, and it was definitely a learned behavior to keep myself safe, because I felt as if as long as everyone was happy around me, then I would be safe and I wouldn't receive any sort of backlash from their emotions. So growing up like that was really hard, especially in school. I never really knew my place in the world. I had friends, I do quotations because they never would really treat me nicely. And again, in high school, I just wanted friends. I just wanted people to be happy. I wanted to please people. I wanted to make sure that they were comfortable. And then I kind of fell into that people-pleasing role in my friendships. And I would say yes to things that I really wanted to say no to, or I would do things that I didn't want to do, or I would stay out even though I wanted to go home. I would say yes to doing certain activities that I didn't want to do and I knew I didn't want to do, but I didn't feel comfortable speaking up. And I felt like if I said how I truly felt, that I would lose those friendships. And with people pleasing, it really made me feel alone. And so I think I wanted any sort of friendship, any sort of person to be there. It didn't matter how they treated me. It was just as long as they were a person that was physically there. I'm just gonna put my glasses up because I feel like the glare is really bad. So yeah, then I did that in friendships. Relationships was a big one as well. I never really dated the best people growing up. And it's kind of sad looking back at it and seeing how much I put up with and tolerated in relationships and how I let people treat me, because it wasn't good. But I also know that at that age it's really hard to find yourself, and it's also really hard to find yourself when you're going through childhood trauma and you don't have a role model, or you don't have a trusted adult figure in your life to help guide you and be like, this relationship is not okay, like it's not safe, you need to get out, or they shouldn't treat you like that. So in relationships, it was, I would try to please again. I was trying to make sure that they were okay, always make sure that they had what they wanted. Doing things that I wasn't comfortable doing, agreeing to do things that I wasn't comfortable doing, agreeing to go to places that I wasn't comfortable doing, just all of that. And I don't think I truly honestly realized what I was doing until maybe my mid-20s. And it sounds so weird because I went through 24 or 25 years of my life not even realizing that I was doing this to myself, and I was people pleasing, and that it was really damaging me. And there would be so many times that, sorry, there's just some noise outside. There would be so many times where I would really truly want to say no to something, and I would just feel it in my gut, and I would just feel it, and going against that and saying yes, it hurt me really bad. Like, it made me not trust myself anymore, and it almost just felt like I didn't have a choice. So when I got to my mid-20s, I think that was around COVID, and I fell down the TikTok rabbit hole, as a lot of people did during COVID. And while TikTok came with a lot of faults, it also educated me on a lot of things. It educated me on trauma and people pleasing and so many things. I can't even name them. And I think that's when I really noticed that I had a problem, and I was like, I need to do something about this. I need to try to figure out how to pull myself out of this space, how to take care of myself, to make sure that I was okay, and stop trying to make sure everyone else around me was okay before myself. So then I started in therapy, and therapy was fine. I I never had any groundbreaking results from therapy. It was always just kind of like, I think it was like a slow and steady process. Like it was things that, you know, over time, when you're in the midst of it, you don't realize that it's helping you until you look back and you're like, holy, like you see how far you've come and you see how much you've changed for the better and how much you respect yourself now and how much you view your self-worth, because that was a huge thing for me in terms of people pleasing, because I think I felt as if I wasn't worthy of my opinion or my choice or what I even wanted. And I had to work hard at restoring that and realizing that I'm not an enemy to myself, so I should stop treating myself like I'm my own worst enemy. And there was something that when I was going through my trauma recovery and doing like my self-work and all of that, there was a saying that I would always say to try to pull myself out of a self-deprecating cycle, or just even if I was just genuinely being hard on myself and beating myself up. I would always say that life is hard enough without, okay, wait, hold on, I forgot what it is. Life is hard enough without you making it harder for yourself. And it basically just told me that there's already so much struggle in life, and there's already so much hardship and so much grief and so much that you have to go through inevitably, and there's a lot that you have control over, and there's certain things that you just unfortunately don't have control over. And that phrase really helped me be on my own side and work on trusting myself. The biggest thing that helped me with trusting myself was that gut feeling, was when someone would ask me if I wanted to do something or if I wanted to go somewhere and I wanted to say no, so I would say no. And that it was really, really hard just to begin with. It was so hard because, you know, sometimes they would get upset, sometimes they would be okay, but I had to be okay with the fact that they're allowed to feel whatever they want to feel about me saying no, but that can't let myself change my answer. If I truly don't want to do something or I truly don't want to go somewhere and I say no, I have to stick by that, despite how upset or the way that they would react towards my answer. So that was really hard, but the more I did it, the easier it got, and the easier it got for me to listen to that voice the first time and not hear it and then try to ignore it. And it would kind of come back again, and I tried to ignore it, and I'm like, okay, maybe I'll be okay with this, even though I know that I wanted to say no, but I was hoping that I would change my mind so that I didn't have to upset people. But anyways, that had really helped me, was listening to myself, listening to my body, and listening to when something felt not right and like I wanted to say no. And that in turn built a lot of self-trust in myself, because I no longer felt as if I had to please everyone else or look for an answer in other people or doubt my choices that I was making, because I always had a hard time making choices. I would ask so many people their opinions, and sometimes even if I knew what I wanted to do and I still asked people their opinions and it was different than what I wanted to do, sometimes I would just do what they said to do, because I was like, well, I don't really know what I want to do. Like and that was when I was just not listening to myself, listening to what I wanted. So yeah, that built a lot of self-trust for me, which then in turn made me realize when I was people-pleasing and would try to ignore the people-pleasing feeling and see how I truly felt myself and how I could put myself first. And I think as a society, I think we're a little bit better now, but as a society, there has always been this huge misconception about being selfish. And if you put yourself before others, you're selfish. And I would like to argue that selfishness is not a bad thing. It can be a bad thing, but it's not always a bad thing. You're allowed to be selfish. You're allowed to take care of yourself. The way that you take care of yourself will then in turn dictate how you show up for other people. So how is that then selfish? I mean, it can be, but I would like to think that it can also be a positive thing. You taking care of yourself so that when someone needs your help, someone needs you to show up for them, you feel fulfilled. You filled your own cup. You overfilled your own cup that you now can give some of that to someone else to help them. How are you supposed to pour from an empty cup? That was also another quote that just changed my life. How are you supposed to pour from an empty cup? You can't. You literally, physically cannot. And if you don't take care of yourself, that's what you're going to be. You're going to be in a constant state of an empty cup that you can't pour anywhere. And if you keep trying to pour, what resources are you using? Because you're not using anything in your cup. Then are you overextending yourself? Are you using your time when you don't really have the time? Or using your energy when you don't have the energy? Because, I don't know, I would like to believe that being selfish is okay, and that we need to take care of ourselves. We genuinely need to take care of ourselves. And if that means being selfish, then that's fine. That is totally fine. Let me be the first to tell you that it's okay to be selfish. And if you need to take a step back, that is okay. That is what you need to get through your day, get through your week, get through your month, get through your life. If that's what you need, then you do that for yourself. Do not stress too much about other people, because you can't make everyone happy. And no matter as much as you try, you can't. And I know it feels unsafe when people aren't happy around you. And I know it feels unsafe when you upset people. But it's okay. It's okay, because at the end of the day, you truly need to take care of yourself. Truly, wholeheartedly. That is, if I could give advice to anyone going through any sort of trauma work, any sort of recovery, and anything, taking care of yourself is the first step. And you need to allow space for yourself to do that, because no one's going to make that space for you. No one is going to come in and save you and make you take care of yourself. You have to do that yourself. And once you start doing that, I feel like things just get easier. Things just get a bit brighter, because you feel better. You just feel so much better. Start with the basics. Start with hygiene. I know when you get into a depressive state, when you get in a funk, sometimes showering seems so daunting. Cleaning yourself seems so daunting. And society likes to overlook that and not talk about that, because it's not aesthetically pleasing. And people can sometimes look down on other people who don't take care of their hygiene. And I don't think that's fair, because we don't know the whole story. We don't know if this person is, what they're going through, what they need to get through their day-to-day life, that they don't even have the energy at the end of the day to shower, or to brush their teeth, or to brush their hair, or to do anything like that. But if you have the resources and you have the access and you have the energy, I would strongly suggest starting there, starting small. You don't have to have a full everything shower right away if that feels too much. Start by brushing your teeth in the morning every day, or start by brushing your hair every day. If getting into the shower seems too hard, And the thought of getting undressed to go into the shower, then coming out, and then getting dressed and drying yourself, if that whole process seems too much, you can always do a sink shower. You can always take a washcloth and just wash your body in the sink. Because I think doing small steps like that will then eventually become a big change for you. Eating food, trying to eat decent food. I'm not gonna say like healthy food, because I don't want to go down that rabbit hole, because that's a whole other topic. But I would say not just eating junk food, not just eating chips or eating candy or eating cookies, and not that eating that stuff is a bad thing at all, but that can't be your only source of food. You need to have something else. You need to have substantial food. Making yourself pasta, making yourself, I don't know, a sandwich, making yourself toast with peanut butter, like literally anything. Eating is really important. You probably hear it all the time, but drinking water is also very important. And if you're not a huge water drinker, that can be hard to start, for sure. I know people who don't like the taste of water, and I personally have never experienced that, because I love water, but I know that for people who don't like water, that can be really hard for them. So what I would say to that is maybe starting with a glass of water a day and leaving it at that. Or if you drink other things, like if you drink soda or pop, depending on how many you drink in a day, try to replace that one soda or that one pop out of all the ones that you would have for a glass of water. Getting enough sleep. I'm laughing because I am a terrible sleeper. I have a very hard time sleeping, and that's probably one of my biggest struggles, for sure. But I sleep more and I sleep better than I used to. I used to get maybe 3 or 4 hours of sleep every single night, and I felt like a walking zombie sometimes, and it just became my natural state because it was just what I was used to. So I won't come on here and say, sleep for 8 hours from 10 p.m. to whatever the 8-hour mark is, 6 a.m. But I will say, if you aren't a good sleeper and you don't get very much sleep to begin with, I would suggest trying to get at least 6 hours a night and then working yourself up from there. You ideally want to get 7 to 8 hours of sleep per night, depending on your activity level, age, gender, etc. But to start small, I would say try to get at least 6 hours of sleep. I think what also helped me was I made myself a bedtime. Like, I made myself a time that it didn't matter exactly when I fell asleep, but when it came to this time, didn't matter what I was doing, I put myself down. I then would try to go to sleep. And whatever time that is for you, if that's 10 p.m., 11 p.m., 12, setting some sort of bedtime helped me as well, because I think as an adult that was hard for me because I didn't have a bedtime anymore, so I could just stay up. I could just go to sleep whenever I wanted to sleep, but then that was hard if I was working, so I would, go to sleep at 3 in the morning and then wake up at 6 a.m. to get up for work. So starting there. You also probably hear this all the time, but journaling really helped me as well. And I talked a little bit about this in my other video, but journaling and not being restrictive about it. Don't put a filter on it. You are journaling your innermost thoughts, and when you journal, you are journaling for no one else but you to get what you're feeling out on paper. So don't make it performative. Don't make it flowery. Don't make it, oh, I wonder how this will be perceived if someone read it. Don't even worry about that. If for whatever reason you're worried about writing stuff down and someone seeing that, and then for whatever reason there's backlash from that, I would suggest writing it down and then getting rid of it, like crumpling up the paper or ripping the paper up, or if you're in like a safe space that you're able to do so, lighting the paper on fire. You can get rid of it. You don't have to keep it. I hope for everyone's sake that they have enough of a safe space that they feel that they can write in a journal and not have to worry about other people reading it. But I know that not everyone has that access. So if that's not the case for you, you can write it down and then instantly get rid of it. You don't have to keep it if you're worried about that. Building relationships, but building meaningful relationships. As I said before, I struggled in friendships and relationships growing up and letting people treat me however they wanted, and I would just put up with it. And looking back, it's hard for me to see what I accepted, but I also have to give myself some grace, knowing how my self-worth was at the time and how my self-esteem was at that time. So I truly believe building good relationships can be very helpful for you. It doesn't matter what kind. If it's a friendship, if it's a family relationship, if it's in a romantic relationship, if you like, I don't know, if you have someone that you send like postcards to, or you mail letters, I don't know, if that's someone that helps you, then cherish those relationships. And don't be afraid to tell the person that, you know, they've helped you, or that you cherish them, or just thanking them for whatever they've done for you, because I think it's easy for us to get comfortable and then just forget maybe to show appreciation. And I don't know about you, but feeling appreciated always feels nice. I don't have anything else. I guess maybe also engaging in a hobby, finding your niche, finding something that you really enjoy doing that isn't detrimental to your health. Talking about doom scrolling and being on your phone all the time, because you hear that all the time. If you need to have that time, that's okay too, but don't make that your only hobby. You could read, you could draw, you could write, you could color, you could play a sport. If you're unsure, just go into Google and type in different hobbies, and there's such a wide variety of them. I promise you'll be able to find at least one thing that you'll really enjoy doing. I have multiple hobbies and I love doing them. I love that I have multiple because I never get bored. Well, that's a lie. I do get bored sometimes, but my life feels so fulfilled because it's not just work, sleep, repeat, or school, sleep, repeat. It's work, do my hobbies, things that I enjoy, sleep, work, do my hobbies, do things I enjoy. So I'm filling up my own cup, right? Like when I'm doing this, I'm filling up my own cup as well because I'm engaging in things that I enjoy doing. I'm not just feeling as if I'm working to live. So that would be my next tip for you. If there's anything that I kind of repeated a lot or brought up a lot, I'm sorry. I don't write a script for these. I just kind of like spew whatever comes into mind. So that's also why sometimes there'll be a lot of pauses where I don't say anything, because I'm trying to get either my thought back on track, or I'm trying to think of what the next thing I want to say is. I don't know if I'll ever eventually write scripts for this, but I think it feels more authentic to me if I just kind of speak from my brain. Anyways, this has been a really long video, so if you watched all of it, thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening to me. I am getting over a cold, so my voice kind of sounds crappy, but if you made it through, thank you. Let me know if this helped you at all. Let me know if there's anything that you would recommend to other people that has helped you that I didn't mention. Any other points that you have to the things that I mentioned that I maybe forgot to say, feel free to leave those in the comments. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, maybe subscribe because I'm kind of cool. Okay, anyways, thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.